Namaste, 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 namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining the live today. My name is Amber Jean, and I've been instructing rocket yoga and Ashtanga yoga for over 26 years. Actually, it'll be instructing 26 years this May, and actually practicing Ashtanga and Rocket much longer than that. Okay, so here we are. Here we are, and so today our topic is what is Emerson's Vinyasa? Okay, what is Emerson yoga? And Emerson yoga is something that I developed out of ingenuity and alchemy from the original rocket system as taught by Larry Schultz, the classical Ashtanga system that was taught by Patabi Joyce, and now the combination, as well as combining in more cross training, is Emerson yoga. And this has come out of speaking my truth of actually what I am teaching. So some of you may know, some of you may not know my story is my home base is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the first 7 years of my yoga journey after I took yoga training, I taught at a studio here in Cincinnati called It's Yoga, and they followed the Larry Schultz rocket system. And I taught there for 7 years. And that was when Larry Schultz was coming to Cincinnati, and he was helping launch our yoga teacher training here in Cincinnati. Slowly over time, that It's Yoga slowly decided that they didn't want to do the Larry Schultz system anymore. And that was what gave me the motivation to open my own studio. And I opened Yoga in the end of the 2000s, in the mid, I guess, 2007s, okay, 2008s. And Larry always was so proud of me for that because I opened my yoga studio during the recession. And I opened during August, which in yoga is supposed to be one of the slowest months. But for me, we were starting to rocket ship up. And I had a vision for Yoga that we were going to do Larry Schultz's complete rocket system. So very early on in my teaching, I became completely dedicated to teaching the system. And it wasn't always the easiest path because I was instructing full rocket 1 on Mondays and full rocket 2 on Wednesdays and full rocket 3 on Fridays. And if you know anything about yoga, is that it's a very rocket is a very niche group of practitioners, okay? And it's very, very niche. So, I had to kind of, figure out how I just kept at it. And slowly I built the community. But on Tuesdays, I started a class at my studio called Yoga Abs. And this was when I was really playing with more of the sequences, and I was adding in a lot more of the Pilates, mat Pilates, into my classes. And the mat Pilates was also taught in San Francisco during the rocket classes. The original rocket, Larry Schultz original rocket, he would layer in more Pilates into the between the seated poses. And so when you're working on your mat in mat Pilates, and then you roll up and you roll over and you jump into a handstand, it's a lot more accessible, okay? Because the stronger your core is, the more accessible and the easier it's going to be for you to do handstands and elbow stands and inversions. And also, working your core also keeps your spine safer. And I've been because I have been teaching for so long and demoing poses for so long, I was Larry Schultz's top demoer. He always had me in the front row of the classes, and he had me demoing all the poses. And I sometimes make a joke, but the joke is kind of true. Is I would say I was Larry Schultz's little monkey. Monkey do this, monkey do that, monkey do this. And anyhow, so when I first opened Yoga Ah, I was very dedicated to instructing the Larry Schultz rocket system. Okay. And when Larry Schultz passed in 2011, he had authorized me to facilitate rocket teacher training. And so that's what I started to do. I started to develop rocket teacher training here in Cincinnati with pilot rocket trainings that were taking place at my home in the woods that was in a country setting. And we called it the Rocket Yoga Project, because at this time there was not a lot of rocket yoga in the world, okay? And so the Rocket Yoga Project was when I would take my people that were graduating my 200-hour training, which was in foundations of Ashtanga and rocket. And then I was taking them into the next level, which was the pilot rocket trainings. I was one of the first people in the United States to be facilitating rocket teacher training. I was one of the first studios in the United States to offer it at my studio. And these were advanced teacher trainings that were meant to be done after you completed a rocket, a 200-hour training. And I was taking students from all different traditions into my rocket trainings. And this really was my passion. My passion, my heart, my soul was these rocket trainings, okay? And and then the pandemic hit, okay? And so when the pandemic hit, I started to get invited. To go back, I had also was offering rocket training internationally. Okay. My first rocket training was in Nicaragua in 2015, Brighton, England, 2016, Vancouver, Canada, 2016, New Mexico, Las Cruces, 2017. And in 2020, I started to go to London, of all places. And so I started offering rocket training in London. And this was really when my teaching was picking up a lot of momentum. And I was starting to get invited to places like Hong Kong and Ireland, et cetera, et cetera. And this was a very uncertain time because now because of the pandemic, my studio had closed. Okay. And I had to start teaching online more. And I was teaching more 1 hour formatted rocket classes. And before I reopened my studio, I got a job at the rec center and I started their yoga program at the rec center. And when I got to the rec center and everybody was coming out of the pandemic, they were out of shape. And it was literally going to be impossible to get them to even do a bottle rocket. So I really had to go back to the beginning. I had to start over, completely start over, and come up with creative ways for getting people stronger and more flexible. And I was interweaving rocket into everything. And I continue to interweave rocket into everything. But today we're talking about my Emerson yoga program. And so Emerson yoga is a much broader, it caters to a much broader group of students because in the Emerson system, we actually do even more cross training than you would do in a rocket class. Okay. And sometimes in the Emerson system, we don't go right into sun salutation A's and B's. Some of the classes in the Emerson yoga system are medicine rocket. Some of them are 1 hour bottle rockets. And some of the Emerson yoga is a little bit more. And I did this class yesterday for my students that came here to Yoga Ah, and we started the class with more cross training on the mat. So actually, coming onto your back, working the Pilates 100s as a warm up, and eventually working up into the sun salutations. And then perhaps in the middle of the sun salutations, going in from sun salutation A to sun salutation B, we will go back onto our backs and we will do even more cross training. And what I love about the Emerson yoga system is it's a lot more this is the alchemy of yoga. And I do a lot of market research by going to other studios and seeing what's working and what's not working. And what works, what I notice is what's filling classes up is a class that's called Hot Inferno Pilates. And the beauty of Emerson yoga is we are still going to be tapping into the ancient teachings as taught by Krishnamacharya. I know there is a lot of language involved in the things that I'm saying. And I feel that that's probably why it's good for me to talk in my language, even though this language might sound foreign to most people. Most people probably have no idea my language. And so my language is Ashtanga, Rocket, Krishnamacharya, Bandhas, breath, Drishti, and I studied Sanskrit. I studied Sanskrit. My first yoga teacher, she was a Sanskrit scholar. Okay. And Emerson yoga is embracing all of my experience. And there's Emerson 200-hour training, which is your foundations training. And there's Emerson's modules 1 through 8. Okay. I'm hoping to be launching one of the modules this August. So that's something to look forward to. It's going to be a module 3 Emerson. And the module 3 Emerson will focus on anyone who has already taken 200-hour and who already has taken rocket training, Emerson rocket training, 5-day, and has 50 to 100 hours of Emerson rocket training. And the module 3, we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the cross training aspects of Emerson yoga, and as well as leading and facilitating your own teacher trainings. I personally have been facilitating teacher trainings for over 25 years. And I have been moving a little bit away from constantly doing yoga teacher training. And I'm moving more into training other people to do teacher training. So that's going to be a program that I'm going to be launching this summer. I will also still be offering Emerson rocket training, and that's going to be a little more focused on the traditional Larry Schultz arm balances and transitions, and so Emerson yoga is just this is encompassing all the different beads on the mala. Okay. So Emerson yoga we get the Ashtanga yoga foundations. We use the building blocks of modified primary. We use the building blocks of bottle rocket. We work into the Larry Schultz rocket system. Then we layer in the cross training with the Pilates, and then we layer in the business of yoga, as well as facilitating your own teacher trainings. Also, part of Emerson yoga is also some of the more advanced pranayamas. Today, that was my practice because as a full-time yoga teacher for 26 years, we are not athletes where we get a season of rest. We are constantly demoing and doing the asanas. So today, my practice was just pranayama and letting my body my joints especially, take a rest. And so the pranayama practice is part of Emerson yoga, as well as the yoga nidra techniques that I've learned with my one of my first yoga teachers, Indu Bala Bhardwaj. And all of these techniques are interwoven into this program. I am so excited because launching the Emerson yoga, it represents a new chapter and a new story. Emerson yoga also focuses on empowering not only the inner teacher, it focuses on empowering women to get into their divine feminine energy, and how women play such a valuable role in yoga. And women have a very intuitive touch and have a very beautiful connection to their students. And I want to empower women through my experience. Okay, so stay tuned. I am going to be getting ready to launch some more. So if you missed the beginning, go back and watch it again. This is all about the Emerson yoga program that I am feeling so blessed and so honored to be able to be teaching for 26 years, that I've been able to develop my teaching this far and develop my teaching beyond rocket training. And that's what Emerson yoga is. And the people that are starting to offer Emerson yoga on their schedule It is so these anyone who's offering Emerson yoga on their schedule, it not only says that they know how to teach rocket, it is also giving them credibility that they are trained correctly in the foundations and deeper meditation techniques, as well as medicine rocket yoga and bottle rocket. So the Emerson program, it's launching, baby. And I just look forward to teaching the Emerson yoga for the next couple decades. So, and we'll see where it goes. All right, everybody, be inspired today. Again, if you're feeling, a little bit blah 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 today, start with some deep breathing. Start with cleansing techniques like nali, and also if you don't really know yoga, start with cleansing techniques, taking a nice bath, putting some salt in the water, because that will cleanse your aura and also give you a nice, it kind of, any old energies that's stuck on you, that salt will help release those. Okay. And then make sure that you're keeping your space clean. And so this is the all the yoga off the mat. Make your bed, run the vacuum, get all those little dust bunnies out, and do the dishes. And take your day step by step by step, and I guarantee that you will start to feel better. Okay. And I want to encourage everybody to always be working to feel better every day, no matter what. Okay. So be inspired, everybody. Sending lots of love out there, lots of peace and love. And here we are, back, babies. Babies. All right. Have a wonderful, happy Sunday. Hmm.